Hello everyone, this is the Mining Geologist and I'm back again with another very exciting and very informative tutorial. This is actually the second video that I promised you about, in which we are going to cover mine design in Micromine. To be specific, Micromine Origin and Beyond, the version 2022, which is currently the latest version of Micromine. So in the previous video, I will leave the link to that video, or it's gonna be appearing somewhere in here. It's gonna be, that video was about pit design, the basics of pit design, and now we're going to cover the basics of damp design in Micromine. So let's go and dive right away in this one. And this is the topography. So the first thing that you will need for a waste damp design is, of course, a topography. Since in pit design, you could start from the bottom, while you don't have, like, it's basically the subsurface, you might not have a topography. But in damp design, since the starting point is the topography, you need to have a topography. The second thing that you need is to subscribe to this channel. So hit that like button and hit that subscribe button for more videos like this, and to encourage me to keep on doing these videos. So next thing is, basically always in damp design, the major starting constraint is the area. So do we have an area that is going to allow us to store all of that waste that we are going to extract from the pit? So the first thing is you're going to define that area. So let's go and create a string that's going to be the area that we are interested to store all the different we're gonna call this maybe damp base instead of pit base, and click on OK, which is from the previous tutorial. And let's go to design. We've seen in the previous tutorial what is the difference between a new string and a new polygon. So we're gonna start a new polygon, and I'm gonna set this to maybe 1700. That's the plane that we are going to digitize on. So the string that we're going to digitize right now is going to be sitting at the elevation 1700. We'll see that in the properties here when we start digitizing. So let's say that we want to digitize, want the damp to be in this area. Okay, so we're going to cover this small area here with the waste material. So this is going to be filled up to an elevation that we are going to set, and when we're finished, we're going to click on escape, and you can see that it is closed string. Now if I click shift and the middle mouse button to rotate this, you will notice that it's not sitting on the topography. So how do we actually drop this onto the topography? So basically we're doing a string manipulation here. We find all the different tools for string manipulations, like we've mentioned that in the previous video, inside design and then editing. And the good thing about Micromine here is the icons of the tools are self-explanatory. So for example, you notice this one that we have 3 points and then they turns into 2 points. So basically this is to simplify the string. And this is what we're looking for, which is drop string onto the topography. And you can see that there's, if you hover there on the tool, you will see exactly like a small description what this tool is going to help you to do. So let's go to the top view and choose this tool here. Since when we clicked on this one, the string was already selected, so the first option was filled. So we now need to select a wireframe. It's going to be this one, and right click to confirm. And now what you will notice is that the string is sitting on the topography. Now this might not be very practical there, so you cannot have the waste damp have a slope in here, because that's gonna be like a 100% gonna cause a slope failure. So make sure to choose this the best in a better way, because I'm doing this roughly to show you how you can do this. Now I'm gonna save this one, Now I can go and start to, play around and see how can I make the damp design fit inside this area, and it's gonna be a lot of iterations. Or I can go and create a automated damp design with the waste damp modeler inside Micromine, which is inside mining. And you can see that we have what we call the waste damp modeler. This is a really great tool that not a lot of mining packages have it, and it's going to help you decide whether you are in the right path or you need to think about a different strategy. Okay, so let's go and see what this tool is capable of. So in different scenarios, you will probably have this area, but now you're curious. This is going to be able to fill, all the different materials that I have? Or maybe if I reach, let's say, a height of, let me just, before doing this, and see, this is the maximum height is 1636. Okay, so we keep that in mind. So maybe you will say that if I reach that height of that's the ultimate crest, am I going to have that volume that is required, or that's not enough? So you can have answers to these questions without actually doing the design, so you don't waste your time on the design so that you find out later on that it was not enough. So this tool is going to build a damp automatically, and based on, so the initial toe, so basically if we have the starting point is the bottom of the damp, we're going to bottom app, and let's choose the initial bottom, which is the damp base. That's the string that we've created. And now the topography is going to be this NVG topography here. Let's go to the parameters. The slope, let's keep it 35, and we are going to create berms, so you can uncheck this one, so you can have like a very rough, without berms, with just the slope of 35 degrees, but we are interested in berms, so it's going to be a height of 10 and a berm width of 5. The top elevation, let's choose 1700, or if you have like a target volume, you can choose a target volume. And the damp, when it's designed automatically, you will notice with that target volume what is the elevation that you are going to reach with that target volume. In our case, let's say that we want to go to an elevation of 1700. Now, of course, if you want to report all the different volumes, and you can have a swell factor, compaction factor, and a density here, and they can be later on reported if you want to do that. In our case, we're not interested in that, and let's go to the output, and this is going to be waste damp auto design, and we are going to auto load that when this tool is going to finish creating them. The report file is going to be RPT, so if you want to check the report for all the different things that we've set in here. And another thing here, we can also check this one to create contours for the waste damp, and I really advise you to do this, to check this to create the contours, because if you want to go this into some detailed design, the contours are going to be really useful, because you can copy them to the detailed design and use them to make a detailed design. That's what we are going to see in the next step. So, and I always, don't, clip them by the DDM, because I want the full contours and use the full contours. So let's leave it the way it is and click on run, and this might take some time depending on, the string and the topography and so on. I hope it's not going to take too much. Okay. Override that, yes, and it's now processing. By the way, if you're not a subscriber, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and tell me in the comments below what kind of videos you want to see in this channel. And it's finished, and click on OK, and you can see that I have that error telling me that I was not able to reach that level of elevation, but I'm okay with that since I already have all the strings that I want. So now if I click on this one, you can see that I have a volume, so I know how much, if I go to this elevation, how much volume I'm going to have, and see if that's really enough or not. So let's say that I'm happy with this one. Of course, I'm not going to create a pyramid like this one, so maybe I will stop at this elevation. So this is why I told you you need to keep the different strings, because now what we can do is we can go and create a new pit design, and we are going to use the same parameters, which I forgot, sorry for that. So go parameters, you can see 35, 10, and 5. Okay, so I'm gonna go and create again, and it's gonna be, this is gonna be detailed waste, for example. And you can see now in the previous video we've chosen pit, but now we need to choose damp. So let's choose damp, and we are going to start from the top going down. So we are going to choose down. Now the butter height was 10, the slope was 35, and the berm width is 5. If you want to get the same results, make sure to change to use the same parameters, and click on OK. Calculate and click on OK. Now this is the waist damp. So what I can do now, I can copy one of these crests. So let's say I'm gonna copy this crest here, and I'm gonna go to design and copy to current active layer. Now if I'm going to hide all of these, you can see that I have that crest in here. Now what I can do is I can probably make this looks better. So maybe you can see that we don't have these, you know, not looking good, you know, shapes. We can probably go and right click and choose delete segment, and okay, I'm gonna delete this one, and maybe want to make a curve in here. How do we do that? We can go to design, and then we are going to here and choose connect strings by curve. I'm going to select this first one and the second one, and now we have the radius. Maybe I'm gonna choose 25, but is it going to be enough or not? So we can go and preview that. That's too much, so let's choose, for example, 15. Preview that. That's not bad. So maybe 20. Preview that. Maybe I'm gonna go for this one and click on OK. Then now what I can do is I can select this one since they are separated, and select this one and click on G on the keyboard to join them. Okay, so all of this is now just one string, and this is basically how you can smooth out the different things in here and make it really not bad. And another thing, maybe you can see that it's sitting in an elevation of 1651.25. Maybe the surveyors later on, they might not be able to get to that. So when you're doing the design, don't just look at the shapes, volumes, and so on. You don't want to make the life of other engineers really that hard. So make sure to choose like values, maybe 1650, let's say. Okay, so the next one is going to be like 1604. Sorry, I'm modifying the wrong thing. So we want this to be here. Maybe this is going to be 1650, and click on OK. So this is where this crest is sitting right now. And also we don't want these shapes to be like this. You can go and clean this, maybe delete some points, and you know, adding some curves and so on. But it's really up to you. So I'm gonna keep this way, and now I'm gonna choose this one. And now I'm going to go to pit design since we have that design active, and now project to burn. And I need to go all the way. When I'm sure that it is all of it's below the topography, I can stop. Now one thing is really bad here. You can see that later on this is going to be part of the design when we are going to clip that. So we can go Control Z and try to adjust it a little bit here so it stops probably exactly where we want it to be. So we can move these points a little bit inside. Okay, so a lot of people think that design, even though that you have all of the different tools, they think that after you design or after you create the crest or the toe strings, it's just a matter of clicking these, and you think that design is going to be like take you like 3 or 2 minutes. But most of the time you'll find yourself, cleaning up the string and making it smooth, or adding some areas that you're interested in, and so on. So it's um, it's not really that easy like a lot of people think. Okay, I don't know, maybe let's go and do that again here. Maybe I want to I'll move this a little bit inside again. Sorry for that. Or what I can do also is I can go and select all of these points. Basically what you can do is with your left click, hold and move your mouse, and you can select multiple points, and you can then move them like this, but just to show you that that's possible inside Micromine. And let me move these a little bit. So basically, guys, you got the idea, because when I'm going, of course, if you've watched the previous video, so I will leave the link to that one. It's gonna appear somewhere in here, the link to the previous video, so go and check that out. For pit design, let me go now and go down, and I believe it's probably gonna work now. And let me go and project that multiple times, and you can see that we have the damp now. And of course, again, if you want to add the ramps, you can do the same thing that you've done with the pit design, even though that this location is not the best location for a ramp in here. So I'm gonna go and add a ramp in this location because it's flat. Because if I'm going to add a ramp in here, the design is gonna change, and you can see that this one is gonna probably cross this area, which is something that I don't want. So let's choose one of these locations to add. Also, it's easy to access the ramp from the top here, but it really all again depends on your project and your location. I'm gonna use the same design criteria for the pit. So basically what I've done is I've clicked on this one to add a ramp. I've chosen this string. That's the string that I'm going to use to add a ramp. If you notice now, since we're starting from the top all the way going to the bottom, Micromine is asking to select a crest. And in the previous video, since we were starting from the bottom going all the way to the top for the pit design, Micromine was asking for the toe string. So you got the idea there. I'm gonna choose this point, and I'm gonna leave everything by default. So we covered this in the previous video, so please go and check it out. And maybe we want this to be on the other side, so I'm gonna choose this point here, and I'm gonna generate a clockwise ramp and click on OK. And you can see now we're going to this side. If I go and project this, you can see now that we have this ramp that have a good location, so everyone can go from this side and go to this area. But this just to show you that it's possible to add a ramp, but in real life you need to be able to access the different areas when you're constructing the waste stamp. So it's it's an engineering problem there, so it's up to you and up to your project where you want to add the ramps and how you are going to access the waste stamp. Okay, so this might be an issue, but you can go and change the direction of the ramp probably at some point there. So I'm gonna go to here, and I know that all of this is gonna be cut out later on. What I can do is I can add a switchback to this area and make it 10 so that it will go to the other side, so we don't see it appearing in this region here. So let me go and project that again and take a look at this. Okay, that's pretty much it. Now if we're happy with the design, what we can do is now we can go and select all of this and go to DDM, grid and DDM, and then we go to interactive DDM, select all of this again, right click and choose this one as the restriction string so that the DDM is going to be limited by the string. Right click, and now we are going to call this damp design and click on OK. And this is basically our damp. We open the topography, and now what we can do, the same thing that we've done with the pit design, we're going to go to wireframes and we are going to clip only the part that we need. So we can use the boolean and tell the software everything on the top of this topography, clip it, and we need that one. Or we can use the interactive. So boolean, this is going to give you, you can see you have like a hint in here, solid union, and you can go to intersection, that's going to give you that part, and maybe this one. So you can use this one, or you can do it interactively this way, selecting everything and right click, and then all you have to do is to choose whatever wireframe that you want to save. And in my case, I'm going to do the same thing I've done in the pit design. So I'm going to choose this one, and I'm going to call this damp cut. So basically this is just the damp, and I'm going to go and hide this one. I'm going to go click this one and click the bottom one here, join them together, and make a wireframe out of these for volume calculation. I'm going to call this damp volume. Basically it's a damp volume wireframe, and click on OK. I'm going to hide this here, and also I'm going to use this one. I'm going to call this topo cut damp and save this. Again, I'm going to hide this. Now I'm going to join the topography with the waste damp. I'm going to call this topo and damp and click on OK. Now I'm going to escape when I finish that and hide the topography and hide the design. And yeah, there's an issue there. I don't know, I think I've selected that part anyway, so let me hide this one. Okay, there's an intersection there that I didn't notice, but that's not an issue, so you can go and select that one if you want. So this is the waste stamp that for the volume. I can go and click on Q on the keyboard or validate here to validate this. You can see there is no invalid connection or whatsoever, and the volume is this volume. Okay, also you can compare that with the volume that you got with the automated design, and you can compare that also after you've added or removed the ramp. And also we have this one that is cut out, and we have the topography here, and you can see that this is looking pretty good damp and waste damp. And that's how to do waste damp design in Micromine. So you start with a waste damp modeler to get the initial shape or the initial strings that are inside your area. If you don't want, you don't have like a volume constraint, like an elevation or like a bottom boundary string as a constraint, you can just start right away with the design here and digitize the crest or the toe and start expanding with benches, adding ramps and switchbacks. And that's how easy it is to do it in Micromine. So that's it for waste damp design in Micromine, and this is gonna be it for the mine design series in Micromine, at least the basics of mine design in Micromine, because things could get a little bit advanced. Of course, we can do the same thing, by the way, if you want to make this part with a add a geotechnical constraint here. Let's say you want to use 45 degrees in here and 36 in here. You can do that the same way we've done in the pit design video. So I really encourage you to check that video. I will leave the link to that in the description, or it's going to appear somewhere in here in the video. If you like this video, if you like what I do, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, because this channel is all about mining engineering, geology, and geoscience. So if you're already subscribed, then that's it for this video, and see you in another video.